Hi, I'm Pierre. I'm the market lead of our tax and accounting business from Thomson Reuters in MENA. And I'm extremely pleased today to be joined by...
Hi, I'm Nauman Asif. I'm CFO at Bay.com, and I'm also the chairman of Members Advisory Committee at ACCA.
So thank you so much for being here with me today. So given you are the CFO of Bay.com, so could you take us through the kind of steps that you've done internally to get ready for VAT on the 1st of January 2018?
Well, getting ready for VAT is definitely a big exercise, considering the challenges around, of course, the interpretation of the law as well. But you can sort of understand how globally the VAT is working, and you can sort of take those steps from that perspective, and that's exactly what we did. So instead of looking into what's coming out of the government or how they are going to lay the rules, we sort of started that preparation a little bit earlier. I won't say we were too early, but I would just say we were still ahead of time to prepare ourselves. And the way we started off is obviously we started off involving the stakeholders. So for us, in our company, the stakeholders, of course, VAT is just not a finance issue. It has to be the whole company involved, because it is going to impact your sales. It is going to impact your IT for us. And of course, how we deal with our suppliers. So the whole business actually is involved. So the way we did it is we tried to involve everybody and sort of looped in the team members in order to sort of, first of all, brainstorm to understand where the impact could be coming from, because that was important. And I wanted to make sure that this is not just a finance-driven exercise. I wanted to sort of get their feedback as well. I wanted them to feel at least they are also contributing, which they did, of course, because there is so much I can do, but there is so much in-depth knowledge I also got from them, and that was our starting point. So that's where we picked it up from. That's how we picked up the regular. Some of the big issues, some of the smaller issues, the minor details, the big details. And that's where we sort of went ahead and drew a roadmap for ourselves.
Right, okay. And so going furthermore into that point then, so obviously you have to deal with e-commerce today as a company. And I remember you mentioned to me once, you have obviously B2C and B2B. And so how have you dealt with that internally?
Sure. So one of the challenges was, of course, we have to treat our customers differently, which is B2B customers versus our B2C customers, which are direct consumers. So we obviously went through, and at this point in time, we obviously went through the law to really understand how it should be done and how should we be classifying, because we have customers coming in. They could be coming in from outside of the region. So we do have a lot of customers based out of UK, US, and we obviously have Bates being Middle East number one. So we do get a lot of customers from within the GCC. So we had to find a way to classify them as they are coming in, to be able to either charge them a VAT percentage or basically not charge them and treat it as more of an export of service to somebody who's outside of the GCC. So that was one of the starting points, and we wanted to make sure at the back end we are capturing that detail from the customer, because at that point that was important to really judge who is walking through that door, and if somebody is walking through that door, should I be even charging them any VAT? So that's how we dealt with our B2B customers. With the B2C, the story is a little different, of course, because B2C is more like customers who are just, it's like a retail shop. You're walking in and asking for a certain service, and that's how we treated them. So we did have a different treatment for B2B, and we did try to differentiate the B2C as well.
Right, okay. And so, obviously, having gone through that exercise now, How do you think VAT will change the way business operates in this region after the 1st of January 2018?
I definitely believe that the change is going to be big. You obviously have to consider that what we were doing in the past was limited, and there wasn't much of a regulatory requirement as well. So me and you were sort of not driven towards making sure that we are compliant with the local regulations, or because they were limited in all cases. So it is going to have a big change. And the big change is, one, we need to understand we have to do quarterly reporting, and which is most likely we were never doing any reporting. So a big change, a big shift from a zero reporting to quarterly reporting, and this reporting has to be sort of a continuous, as well as you can't go back and change. So you have to find a best way to sort of start capturing those details. So a good software, a good ERP system will definitely help you, support you. But of course, the change is going to be big, not just for the small and medium shops, but in fact all the big guns out there, because their impact or their footprint is even larger on the region. So they have to make sure that they are ready for it. And of course, SMEs or smaller organizations who have still not yet started, I think this is a good time. You still have time. This is what I would say. It's never too late, and you have to be compliant at any cost and at any point. So I think the change is going to be big for each and every one of us, and it's not just a business change; it's also a cultural change, because the tax is going to affect me and you as an individual as well. So we obviously have to make sure that we understand it, and we sort of incorporate it in our daily lifestyle as well.
Yeah.
Because whenever you go out there, buy something, you have to pay the VAT, and you just have to get used to it.
Get used to it, absolutely. So what would be kind of your one piece of advice of someone watching this video right now who hasn't started anything on VAT?
Well, but that's slightly more difficult, but I would definitely say it's late, but I still, as I said, it's never too late to be compliant, and better late than never. So start now, and possibly, if I would say one piece of advice, is at least get your tax invoice right, because let your customer pay the 5% output VAT, and then hopefully I'm pretty sure you will figure out how to collect the input VAT, how to file your return. But don't miss out on the opportunity where you have to actually pay from your own pocket. So don't pay from your own pocket, put it on your tax invoice, have the right tax invoice, take the right tax point or the invoice date. I think if you miss that, you are losing big time. If you miss your input VAT, hopefully you will get up there and realize that you can still claim it. But if you are actually paying for somebody else, that's definitely not the best solution.
No,
and
not the best, yeah.
Yes, and definitely not good for your cash flow itself.
So I guess as a final question, given obviously you are extremely involved in the ACCA as well, so what's your view on how ACCA and ACCA members can help companies getting ready for VAT?
It's a great question, because I feel ACCA or finance professionals in general are key to a VAT implementation, to making sure we are compliant on a regular basis. With ACCA definitely has, of course, a strong point, because we have actually studied VAT in our coursework as well. So we do understand how VAT works. The good thing about VAT is not too different from other parts of the world as well. So it definitely helps members like myself or other ACCA members or other professionals as well to basically get involved, understand the law and make sure you're compliant. At the end of the day, it is going to impact the business, but a finance professional has to drive it. And if you can drive it well, then that's perfect. If you go too fast or if you go too slow, you might be fined for it. So,
No, absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your insight and for being with us today. Thank you so much for our viewers as well. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you next time.
thank you, Pierre. Thank you.
Thank you so much.